Hey PBC family, happy Thursday. My devotional today, I wanted to share a challenge from the book of Proverbs I recently did with you all. I thought that you might enjoy it and maybe some of you would want to try it. So you read a chapter a day for 31 days, and as you're reading it, you're focusing on the main categories that the book talks about: the tongue, wealth, health, fear of the Lord, and joy. And as you're reading, when one of the verses really speaks to you, you can just write it down. I kept a notebook for each of the categories, and I just wrote them down when I had one that really spoke to me. Or if you're reading your Bible app, you can just highlight it and save it for later. And when you're finished reading the book, you go back and you pick your favorite from each of the categories. And then the next step is committing those 5 verses to memory. So that's what I'm currently working on. So I really enjoyed this challenge. I think it added a lot, just having those categories in the back of my mind, that I was kind of listening for them as I was reading, and it just kind of added an element that I didn't previously have when I had read the book in the past. So I wanted to share my favorites with you guys. So for the tongue, I chose Proverbs 15:4. The soothing tongue is a tree of life, but a perverse tongue crushes the spirit. When I was reading this, I was in my study Bible, and I looked to the margins, and it described the soothing tongue here as a pacifying and soothing language, uttering useful counsels. I really liked how it described it that way. That is a tree of life for us and for others. But a perverse tongue crushes the spirit. The perverse tongue was described as ill-natured language, and they put some synonyms there that were really powerful for crushing the spirit. Disturbs, wounds, corrupts, and destroys spirits and souls of both the speaker and hearers. So that really opened my eyes when I read it, that, when we choose to speak with this perverse tongue instead of the soothing tongue, we really have the ability to destroy spirits and souls, including our own, not just the person that's hearing it. So that is, for me, the most powerful verse relating to the tongue. And the Proverbs, I chose for wealth, Proverbs 38. Give me neither poverty nor riches, but give me only my daily bread. I love this verse. I've always found it so comforting, because I think most of us could agree that we've experienced personally that when we're given just what we need, nothing less and nothing more, that is surely a blessing from God. Of course, all of our wealth and all of our riches are blessings from God, but we also know that our treasures should be stored in heaven. And in Matthew 19:20, it says, if you want to be perfect, go, sell your possessions and give them to the poor, then you will have treasure in heaven. Then come and follow me. So it's clear that before we can truly be complete in God and following Him the way He intended, that we have to have given up our love of possessions. We have to be willing to give freely and know that our treasures are being stored up in heaven, not in this world. And Proverbs 23:5 says to be rich in good deeds. So that really speaks to me, and that was definitely my favorite regarding wealth. So for the health category, I chose Proverbs 3:7-8. Do not be wise in your own eyes. Fear the Lord and shun evil. This will bring health to your body and nourishment to your bones. And of course, this can be symbolic, but I truly believe that there is quite a connection between your physical and your spiritual health. Even the song Great Are You, Lord, which we're actually going to sing Sunday, so there's a little preview for you. It says it's your breath in our lungs. And I had never even really thought about it that way until I did this study, and it reminded me of that song. God is who puts breath in our lungs. We only breathe, we're only alive here because of Him. We exist because of Him. So, fearing the Lord and just having that sense of who He is in our daily lives, and shunning evil and putting Satan under our feet whenever we can, this brings health to our body and nourishment to our bones, and I believe that. For fear of the Lord, I chose Proverbs 2:3. Indeed, if you call out for insight and cry aloud for understanding, and if you look for it as for silver and search for it as for hidden treasure, you will understand the fear of the Lord and find the knowledge of God. So, wisdom and understanding are mentioned quite often in the book of Proverbs. And when you read it back to back, like I did in this challenge, I noticed it much more than when I had just noticed it in a sermon here or there or a devotional book. When you read it back to back like this, you notice how often that it's mentioned. It's evident that wisdom and understanding are things that we should be valuing and looking to obtain. We know that the Lord was pleased with King Solomon when above all things he asked for wisdom. So to find the knowledge of God, we need to understand the fear of the Lord. And it's telling us here that we should look for it as for silver and search for it as for hidden treasure. It's so true. If you think about it, my heart goes to just thinking of people that have not heard the gospel, people that are not Christians, that they don't really understand. Well, that's really it. They don't have that understanding. I can think of so many times when I was in college when people just didn't understand why I thought the way that I thought or acted the way I acted, because they're blinded to it. And they don't have that fear of the Lord. So therefore, they just don't have that knowledge to understand what it's really about. So we should search for this as for hidden treasure. And for my final category, joy, the verse I picked, it doesn't actually say the word joy, but just from personal experience, I know that our joy comes from the Lord, and honoring him brings us joy and everything that we need. So honor the Lord with your wealth, with the first fruits of all your crops. Then your barn will be filled to overflowing, and your vats will brim over with new wine. I love this verse because I know it to be true. I know so many of us could share personal testimonies of how God has just brought us wealth and joy and met all of our needs and just blown us away with how he's blessed us when we are faithful to him. And I'll just share quickly a little personal story. When the coronavirus shutdowns first happened, my husband and I were both laid off, and this was before we knew that there was going to be supplementation to unemployment and other things out there. All we really knew was that we were both laid off within a week, and we had a toddler and a baby on the way and a mortgage and bills to pay, and we didn't know what we were going to do. So I started looking through our finances to see what things could be cut out or what does not have to be paid right now to just keep surviving. And one of the first things that was on our list of kind of non-essential bills was our sponsored child donation that we give each month. We've sponsored our child since she was less than 2 years old. And I looked at it and I just thought, no, my heart just was not willing to give this up. I just thought, no, I was so angry that this was something that I might have to do, and I just couldn't do it. I went to the website and I almost clicked the button to end my sponsorship, and just my heart, I just felt God tug my heart, like, no, this is not how you're going to get through this, by halting your giving to this family that needs it. And so I just decided I'll come back to it. It was too much to think about for the day, and I decided I'd come back to it. And as I was doing my weekly devotional later on in the week, it was actually the author shared about how him and his wife had gone through a difficult financial time, and he had talked to his pastor about it, and his pastor had said, what you need to do is trust God, increase your giving, increase all of your giving, even if by only $1, and see if he does not take care of it. And I just felt like that was absolutely God telling me that he was going to take care of us, and this is what you need to do. So I went back to the website and I increased our monthly donation by $5. And I didn't know how we were going to pay it, but I was not willing to give it up, because I just felt like that's what God wanted me to do. And it would take a whole separate devotional for me to just tell you all the ways that God blessed us through that time. But I know that it's true, and I know that most Christians that you talk to who have experience with giving to the Lord could just tell you story after story of how God has blessed them for that. So that was my favorite from that category, and I truly think that honoring the Lord with your wealth definitely is related to your joy and the joy that the God will allow you to experience. So that's all I have for you guys today. I hope that some of you will try the challenge and that you'll enjoy it as much as I did. See you guys next time.